As you know, each week we get these numbers from the Office for National Statistics. They show us the number of people who have died, not just of COVID-19, but of all causes as well. And this is the most comprehensive sense of how many people have sadly lost their lives during the course of this pandemic. And I'm afraid the bad news is that those excess deaths, as they're often called, so the number of people dying above the historical average, are still rising. So the death toll from this virus is still going up. The good news is it's going up at a less quick rate than it has done earlier. But let me just show you some of the figures so you get a sense of this. The numbers, by the way, from the ONS that we get this morning are for England and Wales, but what I've done is I've put them together with numbers we also have from Northern Ireland and from Scotland, so we get a picture for the whole of the UK. And what this shows us as follows. That line there shows you the average number of people who have died in given months of the year over the course of the last 5 years. So that's your kind of 5-year average. And let's bring on what's happened so far this year, and you can see the big rise in deaths, and this is deaths from all causes across the UK. Have over that period, you can see COVID-19 has definitely been a part of that. About 80% of that is down to COVID-19. But what you see is here, where we are at the moment, towards the right-hand side of that chart, the gap between those two lines is narrowing. So the number of people who are dying at the moment above the historical average is down to the lowest level since the early part of this crisis. And if you look across the whole of the UK, if you look just at England and Wales at 732, across the whole of the UK, you're talking about 802 excess deaths. And by my calculations, where we are at the moment, Ian, in terms of total death toll, because we're kind of getting closer to that point, when those two lines touch, we will be able to say, well, we are kind of getting closer to the idea of a death toll from COVID-19. So far, the number of deaths that are put down to COVID-19 are just under 52,000 across the whole of the UK by my calculations. And excess deaths, so when you're taking all causes, is up to 64,500. One other point that's worth making, because we also get data on where those deaths have taken place. Have a look at this. This line here, how high these lines are, show you excess deaths in different settings. So at home, in hospitals, and in care homes. Now, we all know that care homes have been the epicenter for quite some time, but what concerns me now is the fact that actually we're seeing more deaths at home, so in domestic settings, than we are in care homes, and that number is actually going up. So potentially people dying of COVID-19 or other causes above the historical average at home.